The main topic going around the One Piece community right now is anything involving swordsmen. From Mihawk to Shanks to pretty much all top tier swordsmen to roam the seas, there is but one man that is destined to pass them all. Roronoa Zoro. With such heavy boots to fill, Zoro will not only be the strongest to ever wield a sword, but one of the very strongest to ever roam the seas. But exactly how strong will he become? What's up guys, my name is Vertics, and if you enjoy videos like this, I put out high quality content weekly, you won't want to miss. Now we are all pretty certain about how strong current Zoro is, being right under the Yonko Admiral level of strength while being above most first commanders, meaning that the next big boost in power Zoro reaches will be something incredible that I suspect will come in the form of him battling the Holy Knights. Based on this conversation between Gabon with both Luffy and Zoro, we learned that while Zoro was using Conqueror's Haki during Wano and Egghead, he was doing it unconsciously and had no clue he even had it. I find this strange because Kaido did tell him he had it and Zoro clearly heard him, but what's even more bizarre is that Zoro's Haki is flowing out of him. To do this unconsciously is pretty insane when you think about it. Even Gabon says it's only useful when you control it, yet Zoro managed to still make use of it. I think that during this arc or the next one, he will learn how to use it properly to help defeat the Holy Knights, and in the future, might have a proper fight with someone like Nesjuro during the final war. Now, there's a theory that was brought to me by one of my viewers on stream that Ashura might be some special Haki technique. Even in the manga, it does show a 9-armed figure formed by some sort of aura. Zoro even refers to it as such, and then he goes on to cut Kaido with it. Now, when he used Ashura, Kaido said Zoro used Conqueror's Haki, and we know that he just recently figured out he was a Conqueror's Haki user. I think that after learning how to control it consciously, he will be able to use forms like Ashura more often, and even to a much higher degree. I don't want to refer to it as a Haki Susanoo, but that's what it might end up becoming, especially that Oda is waiting to show actual top tier Conqueror's Haki users. At the end of the series, we might see someone like Shanks using something similar to what the anime showed, or flashbacks of Roger and Whitebeard using something comparable. Unlike Kaido believes, Advanced Conqueror's Haki isn't the peak of how far your Haki can take you. Not only does it seem to give off visual forms for moves like Ashura, but Shanks can actually cancel out Future Sight with his Conquerors. I suspect that more abilities like this will be presented to us when we reach the final stages of One Piece. I can't say for sure what type of ability Zoro could unlock if it's something like Shanks' ability, but if I had to guess, it could be something like being able to cut anything he wants with top tier precision. Mind you, this is all hypothetical, but the reason I say this is because of both Zoro having one of his eyes shut post time skip, and his final fight with Mihawk will require him to strike even more precisely than Mihawk himself. It could be something differently entirely, but then again, it's a hypothetical. But as for the fight with Mihawk himself, we know this is a battle Zoro will end up winning, and defeating Mihawk will make him the strongest swordsman of all time and above the likes of Shanks, Roger, Ryuma, etc. This was all commonly accepted throughout the community, but recently we saw that Rocks was revealed as a swordsman, which means this is another EOS Zoro upscale. I'm gonna dive into this conversation because I don't think it will ever end at this point, but some people tend to deny the fact that Mihawk and Zoro will be stronger than guys like Shanks and Roger because they believe that they don't qualify as swordsmen. Now, like I and many others have said, being a strong swordsman means you have strong Haki. Just because Shanks and Roger flex their Conqueror's Haki a lot more frequently doesn't exclude them from this list. How did we see them attack? By swinging their swords after applying it with a boatload of Conqueror's Haki. Zoro attacks in the exact same way to scar Kaido and defeat King. The only difference is, like I said, Zoro is doing it unconsciously while Shanks and Roger know how to use their Haki properly. When Mihawk fights Zoro, he isn't going to tell him to not use what he taught him for 2 years during the time skip. The entire reason Zoro became stronger as a swordsman was because he learned to infuse Haki into his blades. Another reason that Haki and swordsmanship go hand in hand is because it's how you forge a black blade. There are only 2, maybe 3 men that we know have obtained one. Mihawk and Ryuma are the first 2, as it's outright stated and shown. The other is Greenbull. While it's not stated, in the official coloring Oda drew it as a black blade, so it could be possible he possesses one as well. Zoro is going to apply this onto all 3 of his blades, and we might see him slowly forge each one to make him stronger during the end of the series. If he learns to forge all 3 of his blades black and properly uses Conqueror's Haki, there won't be many men who can stop him. Zoro's fighting style is very overwhelming on his opponents as it is, but if he can reach his maximum potential, he will possibly have the strongest sword or swords ever. There's a good chance he will be able to cut literally anything his blades come into contact with, and with the many swordsmen that exist, anything they achieve is just an end of series Zoro upscale. Now currently, Joy Boy, Emu, and Rocks are my top 3 strongest of all time, and while I can see Zoro being stronger than Rocks, I'm not too sure about Joy Boy or Emu. Now, Zoro being stronger than Rocks is pretty insane, as it took the combined efforts of the Roger Pirates, Garp and his subordinates, Garling, the Gorosei, and possibly even Emu to defeat him. Rocks had his crew with him. It wasn't a full-out assault on this guy like Thanos, but Whitebeard could have also played a hand in betraying him, and Zoro being stronger than this is going to spark a lot of controversy. I'm not saying that Zoro will be able to beat what Rocks went up against, because him being stronger than Rocks doesn't mean that he's going to beat that whole fucking army, but he will still be stronger than him individually, and it will still take a whole lot of effort to put this guy down when he's in his prime. If I told you that end of series Zoro would probably bitch Kaido, you might call me crazy, but the power cliffing occurring now and in the future will make this the case. A lot of people don't get how power cliffing works. It's not something an author plans for, especially in the final stages of their respective series. For example, not even currently, but base Luffy all the way back in Wano would have mopped the floor with his strongest form in Whole Cake and Katakuri at the same time. Another example is how Luffy can damage Kaido in Wano, but fails to damage Warcury and Egghead. I can go on and on, but you get my point. Zoro is going to power cliff guys like Kaido and Big Mom, and I can definitely see it taking more than one top tier to defeat EOS Zoro. While Whitebeard may have a more superior title than Mihawk, Zoro being the strongest swordsman of all time means he will surpass Rocks, who is stronger than Newgate. You can also say Whitebeard qualifies for a swordsman, putting him below end of series Zoro. I get how to some the idea of Zoro being stronger than Whitebeard and Roger may sound crazy, but not only does he have all the abilities necessary to do so, but the vast majority of top tiers in One Piece, past or present, wield a sword. It makes far better sense for Zoro to be stronger than them all than it doesn't. Which means yes, I do think he will be stronger than any Admiral or Yonko when the series is all wrapped up, and I think the only other 2 characters outside of Joy Boy and Emu that will be stronger than Zoro is Luffy and Blackbeard. Mihawk might not even be the final person Zoro fights against. Well, as for 1v1s go, this will most likely be the case. I can see him teaming up with Luffy and the others to defeat one of Blackbeard or Emu in the final war. That will upscale this man even more. Like I said, the only men that I think will be stronger than him at the end of the series are Luffy, Blackbeard, Joy Boy, and Emu, which means my predictions for end of series Zoro involves him being a top 5 warrior that has ever roamed the seas. Well, that's it for you guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and leave a like. It really helps with the algorithm and is very appreciated. As always, shout out to Tiberius for the thumbnail. He makes quality thumbnails for me all the time. And if you would like some of your own, hit him up on Twitter, link in the description, as well as my Twitter at Vertics_ for more of my takes. And without further ado, you guys can get out of here.